be complete if we didn't hear from our class advisor, George Morris.
Buenas tardes. Just what I wanted. Talk to a room full of people who just had lunch in gym. I thought I was done with that stuff. Okay. It is great to be here and great to see you. I was just having a chat with one of the guys out in the hallway, and we were both looking around at this wonderful assortment of people, and he said, what do you think the glue is that holds us all together? I think the question was just answered with Glenn, and another thing that begins with a G, and that's Gordon. I mean, that is what I couldn't proceed without just adding a couple of words about Glenn. When we heard of his passing, the thought of canceling tonight never even came to mind, much less to our lips, because the last person on God's earth who would shrink in the face of adversity was Glenn Fitzpatrick. When you just look at all he did and all he accomplished in spite of his handicaps, how could anybody even think of canceling? So, if you'll indulge me in a cliche, Glenn would want us to have a great party tonight, and I think that's why we are. Absolutely. This class, I was also asked if I have to go to a lot of these reunions, and I said that I wish, because this class is unique, and I don't say that to all the classes, that's not some line of BS I pull out of my pocket when I speak at reunions, because you guys were it. You were the standard by which every other class we ever taught was measured. Absolutely. I taught 90 of you. I was doing the math last night. I actually still have my class list. How sick is that? Okay. Yeah, you can amass a lot of stuff when you're single. Maybe that's why I am single. I don't know. Yeah, 90 of you. And if I throw in that useless institution called homeroom, I'm probably 120 of you every single, over the 2 years I taught. If I didn't teach you in Spanish, I taught you in Latin in my second year. When you guys were in 10th grade, that was my rookie year. That was my first year teaching. And those 2 classes of Spanish, too, were part of the things that kept me going, because that was never an easy place to teach. And I had a culture shock like no other when I got there, because I went to 16 years of Catholic school. I did my student teaching at the Hommocks Middle School in Larchmont. So that really prepared me for Gordon High School. Oh, baby. In Larchmont, it was Dexter, where is your homework? Oh, gee, Mr. Morris, what homework? And then, page 32, translate the sentences from the present to the preterite, Oh, well, I have a cat that has pica, Mr. Morris. He eats things that aren't food, Fast forward to Gorton in 2002. Dexter, where's your homework? What homework, yo? My posse don't do homework, yo. I goes to the office. I said, I need an interpreter. They said, Mr. Morris, you speak Spanish. I said, who said Spanish? I need hip-hop. Up there, fast. But we adapted as we did. It was not the same place. No place is the same place. This place isn't the same place it was 5 years ago. I switched, not long after you graduated, I switched to teaching English to immigrant students. I kind of put the car in reverse, so to speak, I got a little tired going to parties and people saying, oh, Mr. Morris, I had you for 3 years of Spanish and I don't remember a thing. Somehow that was supposed to open the conversation. I never figured that one out, But just the sheer logic of it is beautiful. Today when I visit former students and they speak English to me and they say, they can't tell me they don't remember a thing because they're speaking to me in English, Hey, I did something, It's really something. Over the last 10 days, I had a real Gorton-themed week and a half. I started out by going down to Florida, to the Orlando area, specifically not to see Disney, but to visit some very dear friends of mine. I have a friend who, from my church youth ministry that I work in, who retired. She's dealing with some health challenges, and she retired from our ministry, and she lives with her son down in the Orlando area. She's doing very well. And then the next night I visit Martha, Marty Nitch, as you call her, okay? She was my partner as a senior class sponsor. It was the first class that she and I sponsored. It was the first of 14 classes for me. And Martha went south to seek her fortune a couple of years, well, no, not a couple, about 9 years actually after you graduated. And the restaurant business didn't work out, so she went right back into what she knew best, and that was teaching, and she taught until she herself retired just last year. She's having some health problems also. She's kind of tethered to a hospital, and that's why she couldn't be here tonight. But she, if you saw her and heard her talking, which you're going to in a few minutes, thanks to modern video, you wouldn't even know she was sick, God bless her, and she's not letting any grass grow under her feet either. In her so-called leisure time, she's making instructional videos in biology for high school kids on the order of Khan Academy stuff. So she's doing well. She sends her best, and if you get a chance, please go over and sign the copy of the program book that I'm going to mail down to her. Okay, just a sentence or two would be appropriate. She'd love it. My last time in Florida, I visited someone you wouldn't know. He graduated. Well, he didn't graduate. He dropped out of Gorton about 9 years after he graduated. But he was one of those kids I taught English to, and I thought he was doing fine until his counselor says he's being kicked out of school. His wife, she says, yours is the only class he goes to. He goes to U period 1 and 2, and then he skips, So he hated school for lots of reasons that we won't go into, but things don't always turn out to be a train wreck. He's a family man. He's got 3 wonderful kids, one of whom is headed for college next year. And we had a lovely conversation on Saturday night. I hadn't seen him in 20 years. Or his wife, and hadn't met his children, and it was very satisfying for me as a teacher to even the so-called troubled kids can turn out great if they're loved back, and they're given support, and I think that's a common thread that ran through all of our Gorton years. Gorton was absolutely the place of the second and third chance. We thought very long and hard before we decided that anybody had to go. And that's something that lasted until, from what I could observe, to the year I left. I went to Gorton yesterday. My intent tonight was to kind of have some fun and get your attention by playing a recording of that change of class bell. You know that thing that knocked all the fillings out of your teeth? I think it was sponsored by the dentist or something. Oh, God. But I went there and I was all psyched out. I signed in at the front desk and I told them what I was doing there, and I saw a few teachers that I still know, and I'm standing there with my little voice recorder right under the bell on the wall near the nurse's office, you know that one? And I was psyched, and someone said, okay, Mr. Morris, class is going to change right now. I could tell because all the kids were right by the class. It looked like the starting gate at Hialeah. Some things haven't changed a bit, The kids were there like, oh, come on, Moose, let me go, wait for the bell, And then I hear, boom, 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 boom. A bunch of wimps. I mean, a kinder, gentler change of class guy. You don't do that to someone my age, because that's the same signal I get when my hearing aid batteries run out. I go 4 feet. So I changed my freaking batteries and I just went home. Now actually, I passed by what used to be room 111, where I had Gerard Alden and I had Bob Palaio and a few others in that thing called homeroom. My first year homeroom was grade 10, room 111. Room 111 is now room 108. They did some reconfiguring. And that was a treat because I kind of knew this in advance, but I said I had to stop in for 2 reasons. It was an ESL, English as a second language class, so the person in there had my old job. And the person who has my old job is one of my former ESL students. Sort of bragging rights there, I guess. That is sweet. That is sweet. But what that says to me is that Gorton you know, was always a place of learning for those who wanted it. You could always get it no matter what was going on, the fires and the fights and everything else that we all went through. You know, if people would ask me, is my kid safe? I said, if the kid goes to the classroom, the kid's not only safe, the kid will thrive if they do what they have to do. So, and it goes on, you know, it gave us something to grow on. It gave us that glue that holds us together. Just this morning, I got a text from a former student who is living in Texas now. He was in the last class I ever taught at Gorton. And it said, I'm back in community college. Can you look at this essay for me? And I put it right down, okay? So I said, gladly, $50 an hour. No, absolutely not, you know. But he knew he was talking to me, and he put an apostrophe in a text message, so he knew what he was doing. No matter where we came in or where we went afterwards, we were blessed. And just like a prophet is never recognized in his or her own country, we didn't always feel blessed at the time. We felt at best challenged. That's the euphemism for having big pains in the butt and big problems at the time. But we all came through that, and that too is part of the glue that holds us together. I was thrilled to be your senior class sponsor. I was thrilled, even if it wasn't every day, to be your teacher, whether it was Spanish or Latin. And I am no less thrilled to be with you tonight. Thank you so much for having me.